Because in Ireland, when a child goes missing in, say, the previous centuries, the local folks would always say, ah, sure, they're away with the Fae. And everyone
Yeah.
started later to accept that as being fairy people, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that that's bollocks. There is not the Fae, F-A-Y or F-E-Y, like, or can be also rendered like Anton LaVey did, Anton LaVey, right? V-E-Y. As a matter of fact, the Fae are not the same thing as the fairy folk, right? Who are strictly the Tuatha De Danann, who are the solar children, the great, great enlightened Magi that was worshipped by the Druids. How the hell is that suddenly the same as the Fae? So the Irish have lost their marbles in many, many ways down through the decades, and this is one. So what this means is that when you see Snow White, the book or the story in, say, a visual form, when you hear of the evil stepmothers in something like Rapunzel that David had mentioned last time we spoke, or you hear about the evil assistant, turning up in, say, the storybook or whatever, or the nurse, the evil nurse, or even in a Dracula type myth, Bram Stoker has a vampire called the Beautiful Lady, right, who sucks the blood of young children. They're talking about the Fae. You have Morgana Le Fay would be the most famous, obvious version of that, as you can see there. So what this means, oh, we can come out of there. What this means is that when in the past, when they say they're away with the Fae, it didn't mean away with the fairy people. It meant they'd been abducted by a female of aristocratic blood, but who was a vampire, like a sort of Countess fucking Elizabeth Bathory shit, right? So the kid is easily seduced, not just with sweeties, but by the beautiful lady, right? So this is what they meant in Ireland, and they've forgotten about it due to cognitive dissonance or whatever it might be. So it's not just some three-headed Igor on his cart going, come with me, little boy, right, or whatever. It's something quite different, and the Irish once knew about it. And that's one of the reasons also then when the child is abducted, don't you see then that that child could think of that Fae as a mother, as a sort of a magical, magic and sorcery. You just talked about the calendar and the zodiac. There's the magic of that, which should be used by one and all for their own uplift and spiritual insight. And then there's the sorcery of it, right? So I've been talking about that dichotomy between magic and sorcery from the very, very, very beginning. It's very, very key. But say you are a Marc Dutroux who later goes out to abduct children and murder them, right? Or Edward Paisnell. How do I not know that you're in worship to the goddess, right? That you're one of the children of the Fae, so to speak. You can't elaborate on it. But if we go to the next slide, David, we realize one thing that comes out of this, and that is that the Fae have been around from the beginning. We talked about it in Priesthood of the Illies and in Eastern Illuminati. This is a goddess cult of vampire female, Circe, Medea, right? And going back even to Lilith, you see? This thing has been in the world from the start. And all the mythologies of the world talk about it. You have to distinguish them between the fairy folk and not conflate them with this succubi, who is the abductor of children. Who are members of this cult? Why are they using the symbolism that they are? What the fuck is going on? When the symbolism is female, I don't care if it's a guy out front. I've learned over the years. Go to the next slide. One of the films we didn't mention earlier, well, we did mention the James Bond, but this one is especially interesting. Please rent this film and watch it with educated eyes. Octopussy. You won't have to come back to people like me to hear anything. Just watch the film. Go to the next slide. This one, the media in general has been programming girls. So these pornographers who work for these groups higher up, we've just said that they're female, but there's male agents involved as well. So when you see one of them, like this guy, Hugh Hefner, their job is to create media, and this is the simplest way to say it without going into endless detail, to create media that programs the mind of girls, of women, for what specific object, so that they come into line with the atavistic thinking of the Fae. Right? I explain all of this in the Participation Mystique article that I just did. The programming is to awaken atavistic memories when women were worshipped as goddesses and when their biology was considered something sacred and divine. Go to the next slide. So they do this not just through porn, but through all the pornographic videos of a Lady Gaga, of a Madonna, of a Beyonce, of a, what was that creature before them? can't even remember its name, but Britney Spears, right? Go to the next slide. And Masonic symbolism is used, like in this case here. But generally speaking, it's female symbolism, folks, and you can't get past that. You see, when you look at this Masonic symbolism, you realize at the end of the day that it's really not men that are in charge at all. Not in charge, you know. Go to the next one. So what I'm saying in the shortest way to say it is that it isn't Jewish, like people think. It isn't even Masonic. It's not even Egyptian. Nice try. We get a couple of stars for that. Let's go to the 5-star level and say we've nailed it. It's female, and then you'll be clear. Then you'll be truly awake, and you know, educating yourself through this movement. Many people listening to us have done it for years. Yeah, do you finally want to reach the end? Do you finally want to say, I've got it, nailed it, awakened it? You know, that Baphomet symbol has got breasts for a reason. Rent out the movie The Lair of the White Worm, and then come back to me. Go to the next slide. Now, what do we normally do when we see all of this crap? We laugh it off, right? We say there's no connection to anything that's really happening. It's just entertainment. Anybody who believes that for 1 second is a completely unawakened idiot. This is the awakened atavistic awakening. Go into it in the female Illuminati, right? And there's many other motifs as well. But part of that awakening in a girl of her atavistic memory is the rest of us have to be waylaid and seduced, right? The succubi isn't just something of mythology. The fae is not something of mythology. It's an actual physical entity, right? That waylays you, abducts you, and then sucks your fucking blood. Not just on a lonely forest road as it used to be. It's on the media. Go to the next slide. The mainstream media is selling it to you, right? So this cult of the fae, which as Caleb is saying, is immensely antique, is seducing girls and reminding them, awakening from their deep limbic brain or wherever, a memory of, you want to be like this. You want to be the succubi. Because for thousands and thousands of years, that's what the goddess was. Go to the next slide to see some more. So on the road to that is the vamp or the witchy poo, right? Symbolism that you're seeing. No one I've talked to can understand it. I've been doing this since the 1970s, right? Late 70s and into the 80s. There's nobody who can tell you what it's all about.